to the program.
All right. To continue the story, they, being the Western powers, they agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said. The Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and calls for what the United States says, or the U.S. says, are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November. That would be, the United States says, are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November. They, Britain, France, and the U.S., they agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable, the spokesman said. The Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and calls for what the U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November. So they want to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile to be handed over and to be underway by November. They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable, a spokesman said. Go ahead.
They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said the Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and calls for what the U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Right, very good. The U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November. Okay, go ahead.
They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said the Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and calls for what the U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Right. Details of his chemical weapons. It's almost like WEP, weapons. Yeah. It's almost as if there's no A. Weapons. Chemical weapons. Go ahead.
They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said the Geneva Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and call for what the U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Right, very good. The U.S. says our 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November. So they're going to have to hurry up if they're going to do that. Okay, go ahead.
They agree that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. The spokesman said the Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over detail of his chemical weapon stockpile and call for what the United States say are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Right. The program, i.e. the transfer of the weapons, is to be underway by November. Very good. Go ahead.
They agree that resolution must be strong, robust, and says precise timetables. As spokesman said,
Spokesman said.
The Geneva Accord give Mr. Assad a week to hand over detail from his details of his chemical weapons stockpile and call for what the U.S. say are about 45 sites to the program to be underway by
November. Very good. 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November, September, October, November. Wow, couple months. Go ahead, Craig.
They agree that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set perfect, precise timetable. Spokesman said the Geneva Accord give Mr. Assad a week to hand over detail of his chemical weapon stockpile and call for what the U.S. said are about 45 systems, sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Right. A week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and calls for what the U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November. A week to hand over details of the stockpile. Details of the stockpile. In other words, where are they? Go ahead.
They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set up precise timetable, as spokesman said. The Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and calls for what the United States says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Yeah, very good. They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said. Go ahead.
They agree that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said. Geneva Accords gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpiles and call for what the U.S. say are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Right. And calls for what the U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November. By November. Go ahead.
They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable.
Continue. Yeah, you can start again. You were interrupted. Go ahead. They agreed.
They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said. The Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and calls for the U.S. what the U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Right. Very good. Very good. A spokesman, there's got an S in there, a spokesman said. Spokesman. They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said. Go ahead.
They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said the Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of the chemical weapons stockpile and call for what the U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Right, very good, very good. They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable, a spokesman said. See, that you should then pause for a brief, very brief, but a pause. There's a stop. Some places they call, in America this is known as a period. In some other places it's a full stop. But that usually lets me know that you're from England. But anyway, regardless of that, that's a full stop. So a spokesman said. Then, the Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week, etc., etc. Then it would roll on from there. Go ahead.
They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said, the Geneva Accord gives gives me this answer a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons, stockpile and calls for what the USA's are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Very good, Mr. Singh. Did everybody hear that?
Yes.
Did everybody hear that? That was a very good job.
Read and leave.
Yeah, I like that. Read and leave.
You live.
Very good teacher.
Okay. Read and leave, that's one way to put it. Okay, Mr. Singh.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
Promise? Promise?
Promise.
Is that a promise? Okay, here we go. The Western powers, Britain, France, and the United States, the Western powers, agreed, they all concurred, that the resolution, the decision about Syria must be strong, robust, or complete and full. It must not be weak and narrow and very, no, it must be strong and full and complete. The resolution. It can't be weak, narrow, and indecisive. No, strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A timetable would be Monday at 9 o'clock, you do this. Monday at 11 o'clock, you do this. Monday at noon, you do that. And if not, I didn't say 11:05, or I didn't say 12:15. No, I said 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock. Precise. Exactly on time. Not 12:30, not 11:22. No, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Precise. Precise, exactly on the schedule. The timetable. A list of times that things must be done. Exactly. Precise. Not if I say Monday, you say, well, maybe Wednesday afternoon's okay. Huh? No. Monday, 11 o'clock. Boom. Exactly. Precise timetable. A spokesman. A person designated to speak for a certain group. In this case, the Western powers. It could be a spokesman, a spokeswoman, a spokesperson, but somebody speaking for a group, an organization, a company, or the Western powers. A spokesman.
It means
Also,
To speak
It
for.
means the person who is representation of the group.
Yeah, in other words, he's been designated by the group, by the company, by the temple to be the spokesperson, the one who speaks for the temple. Designated and official, not somebody off the street that starts, well, I think we ought to do this, that. No. Somebody designated by the group, by the bank, by the company, by the organization to be the spokesman who addresses the press and the media and says, this is what happened. Official spokesman, not somebody pulled in off the street to say, hey, what happened? I don't know. No. Designated spokesman, spokesperson, spokeswoman, depends. But a designated official person, not just somebody that happened to walk in the room and say, oh, no. Designated, official, spokesman. Geneva, Switzerland. We've talked about this before. It's the UN Center in Geneva, Switzerland. It's not the capital of Switzerland. Bern is the capital of Switzerland, but Geneva is the city of the United Nations. The agreement, the accord, an accord, an agreement, an agreed resolution. An accord is in accordance with the rules. In agreement with this, the Geneva Agreement or the Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad, the president of Syria, Assad, 1 week, 7 days, not 2 weeks, not 15 days, 1 week, to hand over, to give up the details, the precise information about the chemical weapons. The details, where are they? How many do you have? How long will it take you to find them, to present them, to give them up? What are the details of the chemical weapons? The type of weapons, where they're located, what they're going to be, what you're going to do about it. The stockpile. Well, you know, every store has its stocks. Its stock. Supplies. The supplies. And a stockpile could be something like, this could be the chemical weapons piled up in a certain location. You know, a stockpile. If you were selling shoes in a store, you would have the shoes on display in front of you, but then you would have in the back room more shoes. You would have a stockpile, more or less. Just a supply that when you sell these shoes, you bring out the other shoes from the stockpile. So they're saying, the details of his chemical weapons stockpile, where are they? How many do you have? And calls for what the United States says are about 45 sites. S-I-T-E-S. Same pronunciation as sites. He cites the enemy coming. Sites or locations. A site is a location. What is the site of the temple? Oh, it's right here. What? We're on the site right now. The site, where is the site of the Temple of Dawn? Oh, it's right down the river here. A site, a location. In this case, 45 locations or sites. 45 locations or sites. Linked. Linked, what is linked? They're connected, like a link, like a chain. You would have connected. And those 45 locations are connected to the chemical weapons program. Linked to the program. And what about that program? To be underway, to have started by November.
Underway, what is it?
Underway. We are underway. If you're on a ship and the ship leaves the port, you are underway. We're going. It's moving. We're underway. Underway. It's a word. Basically, it means that it has started. We are moving.
Start to move. It means start to move.
Yeah. Linked to the program that should be going, that should be moving by November. The program to turn over the weapons must be started by November. It must be underway by November. We're moving, we are underway. Just the way it is. Underway. If you were on a cruise ship and it left the harbor, you would be able to say, the cruise is underway. We are moving, we are beginning the cruise. We are underway. Any questions? Stockpile underway, strong, robust, precise timetable, precise exactly one time, precise. No questions? Everybody understands everything.
Site, location.
Oh, sites?
Spelling, S-I-T-E-S.
Yeah, site. A site, I'm not talking about vision here. My site, S-I-G-H-T, site, same pronunciation, different meaning. My sight is not so good. I can't see. Where am I? My sight, S-I-G-H-T, sight, is not so good. My vision, sight, is not so good. Okay, that's one thing. This S-I-T-E, not S-I-G-H-T, S-I-T-E, refers to a location. Part of it.
จะมีอารมณ์หมดแล้ว
ลูกหนูนั่งหลังน้อยใจ
ระวังร่วงมาอาจารย์
ไม่หลบ
พวกนี้เขียนมือซ้ายก่อนนะคะเขียนสวยด้วยมือซ้ายนี่จะจองก็มือซ้ายแฟนเราก็มือซ้าย
ชื่อผู้นำ CPF อาสา
Okay. Rebels battling Assad. Rebels battling Assad fear the international community's new focus on the chemical weapons issue will consolidate his grip on power. Whoa. And put moves to provide them with more support on hold. Rebels battling Assad fear the international community's new focus on the chemical weapons issue will consolidate his grip on power. Whoa. And put moves to provide them, the rebels, with more support on hold. And put moves to provide them with more support on hold. Go ahead.
Rebels battling Assad fear the international community's new focus on the chemical weapons issue will consolidate his grip on power and put moves to provide them with move support on hold.
Yeah, and put moves to provide, remember your B sound, provide them with more support on hold. Go ahead.
Rebels, batteries, Assad fear the international community's new focus on the chemical weapons issues will consolidate his grip on power and put moves to provide them with more support on hold.
On hold. Rebels. Go ahead.
Liberals wrestling access feel the international community's new focus on the chemical response issue with consolidates its grip on power and push moves to provide them with more support on hold.
Remember to finish the word. It is not put on hold. Hold in the ground. Hold. No, hold. Changes the whole meaning of the word. A hole in the ground? No. A hole. Good. Okay, go ahead.
Rebel battling Assad via the international community's new focus on the chemical weapon issue will consolidate his grip on power and put moves to provide them with more support and hold.
More support on hold. Rebels battling Assad fear the international community's new focus on the chemical weapons issue will consolidate his grip, Assad, on power and puts them, the rebels, to provide them with more support on hold. Go ahead.
Labor managing access field in the international community news focus on the chemical weapon issues will consolidate its grip on power and move to provide them with more support on hold.
Rebels, battling Assad fear the international community's new focus on the chemical weapons issue will consolidate his grip on power and put moves to provide them, the rebels, with more support on hold. Go ahead, Mr. Ray.
Battling Assad via the international community's new focus on the chemical weapon issue will consolidate its grip on power and put move to provide David move David more support in order
on hold. support on hold. Rebels, battling Assad. Fear the international community's new focus on the chemical weapons issue will consolidate its grip on power and put moves to provide them with more support on hold. Okay, see.
Rebels battling Assad fear the international community's new focus on the chemical weapons issue will consolidate his grip on power and put moves to provide them with more support on hold.
Yeah, very good. Rebels battling Assad. Fear the international community's new focus on the chemical weapons issue will consolidate its grip on power and put moves to provide them with more support on hold. Go ahead.
Rebel veterans Assad fear the international community's new focus on the chemical weapons issue will consolidate its grip on power and put moves to provide them with more support on hold.
Right. Very good. Rebels battling Assad fear the international community's new focus on the chemical weapons issue. Go ahead.
Rebels battling Assad fear the international community's new focus on the chemical weapon issue will consolidate his grip on power and put moves to provide them with more support on hold.
You have to complete the word, but you don't have to say hold. Just a little bit of a hold. Just to change it from hold, a hole in the ground, to hold something, to hold. It's that little that changes the whole meaning of what you said. If you don't have it there, people are wondering, did she mean a hole in the ground or a hole what? And so that's why it's important that all these words, that you always finish the word to make sure that it's understood, that people can understand what you're talking about. Okay, go ahead.
Rebels battling Assad fear the international community's new focus on the chemical weapons issue will consolidate his grip on power and put moves to provide them with more support on hold.
Right, very good. Consolidate. Consolidate. Like we almost say date. Consolidate. Consolidate. Okay, well, the rebels. Who are the rebels? Wow. Assad is the president of Syria. Syria is a country in the Middle East that has an army and a government running the country. What? Whoa, wait a minute. There's another group. Another group of people have decided that maybe Assad should not be the president of Syria. Maybe his government should not be the government of Syria. They are in rebellion. Rebellion against the government of President Assad. They want to overthrow, to push out Assad and his government. They are known as the rebel army of Syria, or the rebels. The rebellion, the ones in rebellion are known as the rebels. The rebel army is moving toward Damascus. The rebel army is attacking the government. Wow. Rebels are battling or fighting. There's a war going on. Battles are being fought. The rebels are battling Assad. Well, they mean Assad, his army, the government, etc. in Syria. The controlling force, the current regime of Assad is being attacked by rebel forces, the group in rebellion against Assad and his government. So that is the situation at the moment. But the rebels are afraid. They are afraid. They fear to be afraid. I'm afraid of you. I fear you. Fear to be afraid of the international community, the world powers, the rest of the world, the international community, all the other countries in the United Nations, the international community, Britain, France, England, Russia, boom, 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 all the way, Thailand, everybody. The rebels are fear that the international community's new focus, new look, new focus, new look at something. You focus the camera on the subject that you want to photograph. You focus the camera. You take they're worried about the new look, the new view of the chemical weapons issue, the matter that we are discussing, chemical weapons, the issue. They're afraid that the new look on the issue will consolidate, bring together. The international community's new look could bring together or consolidate Assad's hold or grip, hold on power. Wow. I'm still the guy. I'm in charge. I'm winning. I'm Assad. His grip. To grip something is to hold. Please don't grip my arm like that. It hurts. Ooh, sorry. Consolidate. Bring together his grip on power. Maybe it was slipping. Maybe it was a little loose. Things were starting to slip away from Assad. But the new grip on power because of the new focus. The rebels are worried that the consolidated grip on power and put efforts by the international community, put the efforts, the attempts by the international community to give or provide, to give them, the rebels, more support, more help, more equipment, more uniforms, more boots, more weapons, more ammunition, whatever it takes to win. They're afraid that it'll strengthen Assad and put the international community's efforts to help them on hold. On hold. What does on hold mean? On hold. On hold.
On trip.
That maybe in your office there's a telephone. You pick it up. Oh, hi, glad to hear from you. Glad to talk to you. Oh, wait a minute. I've got another call. I'm going to put you, click, on hold. In other words, you're on hold. You're like waiting, 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 waiting. And what the rebels are worried about, that the international community will put their efforts to help the rebels on hold, at a stop. Wait, wait, wait. I'm on hold. I'm waiting for the person to come back on the line. On hold. The hold button on the telephone of years ago. So they're worried that Assad will get stronger, and now the international community will basically forget about them. She's going to put herself on hold. That's what's on hold is not about. We'll consolidate his grip and put them on hold. Any questions about it?
Sure. About battling Assad, it means soldier in
What? Means what?
It means soldier in Assad.
Well, it means that the rebel soldiers, the soldiers of the rebel army, the people against Assad, are fighting Assad's army. They're battling. Boom, boom, boom. The rebels, the soldiers of one side, the soldiers of the rebellion, are fighting the army of Assad's army. And they're afraid that with the new arrangements, the new resolutions, that the international community, they're so worried about the chemical weapons of Assad that they will forget about helping them, the rebels. They would be put on hold. Wait and wait and wait and wait, and nothing happens. The help does not come, and that makes Assad the stronger one. Wow. Any other questions about that? Any other?
I don't understand yet the meaning that moves to provide them with more support. I understand, but on hold, what's the meaning connect with the first sentence to provide with more support? Provide them with more support. I understand, but on hold, I
Still don't get it. Tricky. Well, on hold is an expression that, in other words, you're telling, if I put you on hold, if you understand, I don't know if you remember back when you had a telephone that had buttons on it, and one of the buttons would be hold, where you would be talking to someone, a second call would come in, ring, 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 oh, somebody's trying to reach me. I'm going to have to put you on hold, click, and you would then be waiting, waiting, waiting for the person to come back and finish the call, the second call, and come back to you. You are on hold. Who are you talking to? No one. I'm waiting for her to come back. I'm on hold. Waiting, waiting, waiting. So, it would strengthen Assad, and the rebels were worried that it would put efforts to help, moves to provide, efforts to help them, the rebels, with more equipment on hold. Wait, we'll see if we're going to give you more equipment later, and later, and later. On hold, stop. In other words, that's what they're afraid